Swami Vivekananda was one of the greatest thinkers and philosophers of ancient India. He was a devout follower and chief disciple of the 19th century mystic monk Shri Ramkrishna Paramahmsa. Swamiji gave up his affluent life and bright future in material world to service humanity. Of the many qualities in Swamiji, one of his greatest was sharp memory power. Some would also argue that he was blessed with photographic memory. In today's video, we shall go through a research paper by Mr. M. Murthy where multiple incidents of Swami Vivekananda demonstrating his extraordinary memory are well documented. According to the research paper Vivekananda and the Art of Memory, Swamiji's friend Haripada Mitra relates the following story. One day, Swamiji was reading a book reclining in his bed. I was in another room. Suddenly, he laughed so hard that I thought there must be some reason, and so I went to his door only to find that nothing had happened. He continued to read as I stood there for some 15 minutes. Still he did not notice me. His mind was all concentrated on the book. Later on, he saw me and asked me to step in. When he heard that I had been standing there for quite a long time, he said, "Whatever one has to do, one must apply whole attention and energy for the time being." Another incident where Akhandananda, a brother disciple, went to bring books from the local library in Meerut for Vivekananda. Accordingly, Akhandananda got one volume each day and the Swami would finish the entire volume in a single day and return it the next day. The librarian argued with Akhandananda that Vivekananda had indeed returned the books without reading them and remarked that he was only showing off. Hearing this, Swami himself went to the librarian and said, "Sir, I have mastered all these volumes. If you have any doubts, you may ask me about them." The librarian then examined the monk and became fully convinced by doing so. Later, Akhandananda asked Swami how he could do it, to which he replied, "I never read a book word by word. I read sentence by sentence, sometimes paragraph by paragraph, in kaleidoscopic form." Vivekananda's prodigious memory was demonstrated from his youth. He would finish a big book in just one night in college, keeping awake by drinking strong tea or coffee. Shortly before he passed away, he fell sick. During his recovery, he had begun reading the newly published edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica. His disciples, Sarat Chandra Chakravarti, seeing these 25 large volumes one day, remarked that it is hard to master the contents of so many volumes in one life. He did not know at that time that Vivekananda had already completed 10 volumes and was reading the 11th. "What do you mean?" Swami said. "Ask me whatever you like from these 10 volumes and I can tell you all about it." Out of curiosity, the disciple brought down the volumes and started asking him questions on abstruse topics. Not only did Swami answer these questions displaying a vast amount of even technical knowledge, but in many instances he quoted the exact language of the books. The disciple was spellbound at the extraordinary grasp and memory of his guru and exclaimed, "This is beyond the power of man." Vivekananda then told him that there was nothing miraculous about it. If one observed the strictest brahmacharya, one could retain and repeat exactly what one had heard or read but once, even if years ago. Chastity in thought, word and deed, always and in all conditions, is what is called brahmacharya. Unchaste imagination is as bad as unchaste action. The brahmacharyan must be pure in thought, word and deed. A brahmachari should not think about people of opposite sex, speak about sex life, romantically mix with anyone of opposite sex, look lustfully or talk intimately with women. Swamiji gives an account of this in the interview with Priyanath Sinha, where the interviewer asks Swamiji what was the secret to his oratory power, memory and philosophy. Swamiji replies that the power comes to him who observes unbroken brahmacharya for a period of 12 years. With the sole object of realizing God, I have practiced that kind of brahmacharya myself, and so a screen has been removed as it were from my brain. For that reason, I need not any more think over or prepare myself for any lectures on such a subtle subject as philosophy. Suppose I have to lecture tomorrow. All that I shall speak about will pass tonight before my eyes like so many pictures, and the next day I put into words during my lecture all those things that I saw. So you will understand now that it is not any power which is exclusively my own. Whoever will practice unbroken brahmacharya for 12 years will surely have it. If you do so, you too will get it. Our Shastras do not say that only such and such a person will get it and not others. So this is the mystery behind Swami Vivekananda's superhuman memory. For those interested to read the entire research paper, I have attached the link in the description below. Do check it out. This is all for today's video. We'll be back with some more interesting content in the next video. Until then, stay tuned.